It is the Matt Mosley Show right here on Rogue Media Network. And Scott Drew with us, fresh off a new haircut. Scott, are you someone? It seems like guys use their own clippers occasionally. I certainly, you can see this pompadour. I do not do that. I actually go and occasionally, even though it doesn't look like it, I go to the barber or the whatever you call it. Do you go to the barber, or do you have someone
I'm
at
like
the house?
2.5 on the side. Like all I know is we've lost a couple games and we needed a winning haircut. So that's the key to success right there.
Yeah. Do you when you're in a bit of a dry spot, which you guys are right now? Obviously, the Tech game the other night didn't go your way. Is there anybody? Other than consulting the Lord, I've seen the size of the Bible on your desk, by the way, so I feel like you've got some pretty good references if you need them. But do you reach out to your dad? And that may just be normal winning or losing that you guys talk, but is there anybody you've kind of leaned on? Because this is quite honestly something that's, Baylor fans are not used to at all, a 1-5 start in conference. And unfortunately in this conference, while it offers lots of opportunities, it offers lots of tough opportunities,
Yeah.
Is there someone you reach out to during times like this?
Yeah, I'm blessed because we got a lot of guys that have gone on and been successful from here, and they know the Baylor family, and they know our situation. So the great thing about being done playing Texas Tech right now is I can talk freely with Grant and Rim and Chris and all those guys on that staff. They can tell me their scout report. I can tell them what we tried to do, and we try to help each other. I think obviously you got Coach Tang and Coach Driscoll and everybody at K-State. You got Coach Jacobs, Coach Mills. So I mean, there's Bill was only here a short time, but he offers perspective as well. And when you've been in coaching long enough, it's probably like in any sport. There's highs, there's lows. The more experiences you can draw on, different fresh opinions, thoughts, anything that possibly is helpful. And that's one thing that I think we're really blessed to have people that care about Baylor, want to see Baylor do well. So obviously they're helpful.
Fans have a way in media, we start looking at big picture, like, it's like already ready to move on to, okay, what are they going to do for next season? You don't have that luxury. This is the team you have. You got to see if you can kind of turn this thing around. I know you had to be like incredibly frustrated the other night because I was in the arena and I saw it happen. And you and I have both seen some unbelievable shooting displays. Lace comes to mind, one time up at Tech, I think he had one of those halves, kind of like what Atwell was doing the other night. But I know it's got to be a humbling, awful feeling when it's like you're calling timeouts. Yeah. And there's like nothing you can do. That was an awesome shooting display, 14 of 19 from three. I don't know if anybody's ever done that against Baylor, quite honestly. When you watch the film, as dreadful as it might have looked and felt, what did you see? Did you see enough effort? Was the effort there and the execution wasn't? Did you just see guys just unbelievably hot from distance? I guess you saw a combination of that, but what jumped off the screen at you when you took a look, especially at that first half?
Well, I think the first couple shots we gave them were too easy, and once you get into rhythm and you have that confidence, then the harder shots become easier. Rather than you want them start opponents off taking tough shots, not getting into rhythm, not get going. Obviously, schematically, a couple breakdowns, and that's where this team's been. The one thing is they've fought hard, they've been resilient, and they've competed. I mean, we won 11-5 on the offensive glass, so it wasn't like we weren't competing there. We only had 11 turnovers, which you can win with that number. Offensively, you shot 49%, 33% from three. You can win with those numbers. No matter what the opponent, the free throw defense, I mean, at the end of the day, nobody's guarding you on the line. They're called free throws for a reason. And, I mean, you can't win big games shooting 50% from the free throw line. So, this team's worked really hard from the summertime to now. And we've been better more than we've not been better at the free throw line. But that seems to be a contagious bug where some games were 17 for 20 and some games were 10 for 20. And you miss front ends or one-on-ones, those are like a turnover. So, again, the margin of error in this league is not great. With us, it's not great. So all those things matter. Again, I think Grant and Texas Tech showed tremendous maturity from the standpoint. They had a big win against BYU. They have College game day coming up, and the game in between is not at home. And they came out and, as you know, to go 14 for 19, even if there's no defense.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like their threes were on the line. Most of them were 2 feet, 3 feet behind the line. So they made shots. And again, some things we schematically without getting into the intricacies, the first zone possession, we weren't matched up how we wanted to be matched up. The closeout threes, we weren't close enough to our man to close out to make a difference. Ball screen switches, we wanted to stay above the three. I mean, just different things like that when you get in the course of the game, there's going to be always slippage. One of the challenging things, because as you said, Baylor fans aren't used to being 1-5. We're not used to being 1-5. But I think the learning curve playing in big games. I mean, we had 3 games, top 15 teams at home, and sometimes in bigger moments, you tend to have more mental breakdowns. We're actually we've done better since TCU to now, I think, overall, with just execution and adapting to the physicality in the Big 12. But again, any game slippage, we could play well, and if another team plays better, they might be a better team. But we have to control what we can control, and we got to get better with that. And again, that's the exciting part of coaching. Every day is a new day. You can be great yesterday, you can be terrible yesterday. Today you got to go 1-0, and as long as you're playing, you're controlling your own destiny in the Big 12. So unlike football, I mean, we have a conference tournament. So in the conference tournament, you win the conference tournament, you get the automatic bid. So, I mean, as long as you are playing, you have a chance to control your destiny. And no one's happy right now with 1-5. But at the same time, it's a great opportunity to see what we can get done with the rest of the year. Obviously, you said big picture, and I mean, you're always planning for the future. And I think the one thing based on probably the last year or two before that, we want to get more size, more length. The one thing we probably didn't want to neglect and was we've had great guard play and experienced guard play. And I think Obi and Isaac have done a good job, but both of them, I mean, Obi played 1 year, half at point at Wyoming. So he's done a good job trying to adapt to that. And Isaac, 1 year of college and adapting to that. But I think, again, helping them as much as we can, simplifying what we're trying to do. And as guys get used to playing with each other and whatever system because we'll keep tweaking things until it actually works, you know? And I think, again, last game, 14 assists, you can win with that. So guys are trying, and they're getting better. We just got to speed that process up.
Yeah, and like you say, planning for the future. I doubt you'll ever allow yourself to be caught at guard like this. We all know you had a great guard. Another team ended up paying him more money, and so I think one of the things you'll need to do, you'll want more money into your program. In this era, you can't have enough, right? And then I think you'll probably tweak your evaluation process, and that you're probably some of those conversations have already started. Tell me real quick, what's Doug been like? He's new to not new to us because we've known him, but he's new as the athletic director at Baylor. I would imagine some of those conversations have already started. Hey, we got to pump more money in here. We got to look at how we're doing things. What's Doug been like overall, especially kind of during this rough start to conference season?
Well, I think what you said is Doug gets the big picture, and the big picture is how do you become successful in business, and that's not just a 1-year thing, but how can you sustain success? And each and every year, I can tell you that everything starts and finishes with me. Any missed evaluation, that is on me. Anybody that surpasses the evaluation, then I guess we get credit. So it's like if anyone's ever played the stock market, what you're gonna find is nobody gets them all right, and hopefully you don't get them as wrong. The one caveat I think to that is injuries affect everybody, and you have to have enough that if you have injuries, we wanted size, we wanted length, we wanted depth. And unfortunately, you might plan on one season-ending injury, but you've lost Bodo, you've lost MP, and you haven't had JJ for most of the year. I don't think people plan on 3 guys being out. And again, I think that would have been year to date. One of the strengths of our team would have been our depth, and we haven't. And maybe with guys playing so much basketball nowadays, maybe you need to plan on 2 season-ending injuries. Maybe with the modern medical technology and ability to find things and fix them, but that also probably leads to more people being out. I mean, maybe that part needs to be tweaked, but I think definitely I'm humble enough to know that I don't have all the answers, and every year, hopefully, I do a better job in fixing things. I know excited to see where we can finish this year, and then obviously excited to see in the future. We're used to having a chance to we get in March Madness. Anything can happen. Final 4 teams have gone to the Final 4. Obviously, you want to be a top seed, but again, if you look at the consistency of our program, we're one of 3 teams to win a game in the tournament since 2019. Us, Houston, Gonzaga. That's pretty good. Us and Houston are the only top 3 seeds in the NCAA tournament, I believe 4 out of 5 years. So, I mean, we've had a lot of success. Right now, we have not had success this year. That is my fault. We've made mistakes. And then we've had some unfortunate incidences, again, with having 3 guys out for 2 for the season. And hopefully we get JJ back here at some point. But you live, you learn, you get better. And nobody feels more disappointed when fans come and we lose games than us. And I can promise that, because when you've been in the community long enough, they're not people or friends and family. They're not transactions. And so again, I think everybody can relate out there. You don't want to disappoint family or friends. So I can promise that nobody will ever feel worse and try to do a better job or learn from our mistakes than us.
You're not the first top 10 type program to have a rough year. I was trying to think the other night. I had a lot of thoughts sitting in the stands in that first half. But I was thinking, Scott, about like even with Hubert, and maybe I'm trying to think if it happened with Roy, but UNC and Duke have both had a couple of down seasons where they were just out of commission and may have missed the tournament. So again, I don't think when you're going through this, I think you think you're the only like elite program that's ever been through it. I'm sure that crosses people's mind, even the fans. I don't think y'all are the only team that's faced something like this. And it happened even to Sean when he was at Arizona one of those years. Let me ask you this, though. A guy like Ratai, the thing is, when you pay them money and they're supposed to be like big time players for you, the way players are viewed now, it's a little different animal, because now people are like, this dude was brought in here to kind of be this, and he's not that. Let me ask it this way. A guy like that, who obviously has a great attitude, and I can tell you really like him, but like, does he start to press the numbers that you were needing from him? Probably, I would say he's off from that, especially in conference. And I've even heard some of your quotes, because I almost can sense that you're trying to kind of lift his spirits, but the shooting is not what it needs to be. It's not what you expected. How do you kind of manage that when a guy is not meeting expectations, but you need to try to keep his confidence there and see what you can get from him?
Well, I think that's probably one of the toughest things. And with the portal, with NIL, I think the pressure on young people. We talk about graduation rates from changing schools or doing whatnot. I think the pressures on younger people nowadays, and this doesn't. Mikey's got a great family. He's got a great inner circle, but I just think the pressure on so many players, because if you look at it, a lot of them, it's not just they're making NIL, but you got agent pressures, you got family pressures, and it used to be you went to college, and if you didn't have a good year, you got the next year, and you're building for the future, and it wasn't so much pressure to perform. So that following year, you might get this or that, and I would think the mental part of things, and making sure players mentally are doing okay as a coach, probably is at an all-time high. And then with that, I think that's what's great about sports, is it prepares you for success and adversity the rest of your life. And that's what life is. I mean, there's ups and downs, trials, tribulation. It's what's your foundation. At Baylor, the great thing is you're preparing champions for life. It's spiritual, it's academic, it's character formation, and it's athletic. So hopefully when they face trials later, they persevered here. They've had a team around them. They know they're built on a solid foundation. And I know I'm giving a long-winded answer, but I think you had said there's a couple teams. I virtually, again, you can look back, and in the last 10 years or 15 years, you're going to have, with more movement, you're going to have more highs, more lows, more pressure on young people. And I think we're all trying to figure it out, because there's no book on it. And I think one thing that I've learned, obviously, is retention is so important with your key guys. If you look at the teams right now at the top of our league, a lot of them have 2 or 3 of their top guys back. So they've been in the system, and they know what's expected. They've been through, the coach knows what they're going to do. They know what the coach is going to do. And I think it's with as many transfers, it's probably, you're going to have probably more, I don't know if you want to say hits, misses, however you want to put it, but there's just an adjustment period, and some adjust quicker than others. And I mean, I think that's something that all goes into this equation, and it factors into everybody. And what I mean by that is, if you're in a good place, and maybe grass isn't always greener on the other side. And so it's a long-winded answer. I'm giving you probably more problems than solutions. I know with us, again, you'd like to retain your top players. You'd like to build around that. And then you got to prepare for multiple injuries rather than maybe just one.
All right. And talk to your lawyers, Scott, because I mean, I now see in football all kinds of lawsuits, and when players leave and after they signed a contract, there's some lawsuits, and one notable player left you. I don't know, maybe too late on that one, but it is interesting. You talk about how things have evolved. What I hope is, oh, go ahead.
And what I hope is there becomes a standard where when you do sign, because what happens is when you sign somebody, now everyone else that's interested in coming, they go somewhere else. And so now if someone leaves, you don't have backups because your backups are gone. And so, I mean, anyone that's going through it knows that it's the hardest thing is signing someone and losing them rather than never signing someone. If you never sign someone, you got options to choose from. So hopefully whatever the rules are, they stabilize to where when you sign, there is, and maybe it should be a standard buyout. Maybe it should be dollar for dollar. Because again, another problem in recruiting is if little Mosley wants to go to 3 schools and one says there's a buyout and 2 says there's no buyout, the agent's going to say, well, remove your buyout or we're not going to your school. So like there has to be a standard set of rules where whenever the finish line, and that was the great thing about the National Letter of Intent back in the day, when you signed the National Letter of Intent, if you got out of it, you're sitting for a year. So nobody got out of it. And when you signed a guy, you knew what to plan on. And I think that's what it's just fair for programs. It's fair for fans. It's fair for everybody that whatever it is that you plan on. And again, that if it's not in the rules, then it is what it is. But that's part of like every and the NCAA, again, like they would love to be able to make rules that they can enforce. And that's why if it's collective bargaining, if it's Congress, whatever it is, the sooner we get to it so everybody knows. I mean,
yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, you offered a kid a lot of money and he had committed. And so that is something to remember. You know, it's interesting. I was just thinking when we were talking about transfers and evaluation, in some ways you wrote the book on transfers. And it's like, I think about Davion and Flagler and I mean, Bridges after him. Honestly, Ray J was a great point guard who's played some of in the NBA. So you know, but again, that there was some level of that's changed immensely because some of those guys sat out. That's the old world. Let me ask you this though, for people that are like, okay, what's on the way at Baylor? Like Iguodala, Mayo, you know, like some of these guys that over the years we would hear about guys in practice that couldn't play for you yet. And like, oh my gosh, you should see this guy. Is help on the way? Like some of these young guys, what are you seeing from them in practice? And are they going to be able to help you next season?
Well, I can say most. There's always exceptions to the rules. Most people that come to Baylor, they love their experience and they want to be here. And so I think our retention, as long as because at the end of the day, NIL is NIL. And if the NIL is similar, we're going to retain who we need to retain. And then with that, Baylor has a niche. We'll always bring in people that'll represent our program and fit well. So I think the best thing to do is always look at a track record to know what the reality is moving forward. That gives you the best indication. We've been successful more than we've not been successful. We will be successful. If it's this year, if it's next year, as far as building up people, The last thing you want to do is build up someone and then they're not here, which again, like when you knew Epe Udo was sitting out, you knew he was playing the next year. So like as a coach, you just temper what you say as well, because
Yeah, it's a good
you don't
point.
know, who's gonna, but what I can say is I think that's the simplest thing to, if I was a fan, have they been good in the past? Yes. Do I trust they'll be good in the future? Yes. We will get who God needs us and wants us to have, and that's all we ever pray for. And we will always retain and bring in quality, because at the end of the day, Baylor is a great institution, and it's as Doug said, it's one-on-one. But our preparing champions for life, I mean, we have a niche. And then at the end of the day, most players want to play in the NBA. In the last 5 years, we've had the fourth most drafted, and we're the only school to have a top 19 pick 5 years in a row. So, I mean, if the NIL is close, we're gonna be fine. And when I say fine, we will win. All right. I don't know if you'll win the last game, but we will win. With that, again, I think the caveat is you always want to build in depth, and then you're always, no matter what sports team, if you take out one or two cogs, I mean, we just played Texas Tech, and Grant's a great coach. Christian Anderson and Toppin are great players. If you take one of those out, that team's probably different, and I can say that for every team we play. And so you to win it all, you probably have to avoid having a key one or two guys injured. Otherwise, I mean, do the Patriots win their Super Bowls if Tom Brady's not quarterbacking? I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do the Bulls win if Michael Jordan doesn't play? Well, I just know the 1 year he didn't play, they lost after the first round of the playoffs. And then the three previous and the three after, they won it all because he played. So, I mean, when you win it all, you look back and say, God really blessed us.
Yeah.
Because look at how it aligned, and how and that's what makes sports. You have to have some of that.
All right. Well, listen, I appreciate it. And it is fun. When you're in a rough spot, you get all kinds of folks reaching out to you. It is cool that you have that network. I did try to help Jacobs the other night, one of their games against Temple or somebody. And I told him, I said, this kid, he goes to his left. He's always trying to finish at the rim with his left. And Jacobs texted me back and he said, well, yeah, thanks, Mosley. He's left-handed. like I had really discovered some stuff, So anyway, it is a fun community, and everybody kind of helps each other. Scott, I appreciate it, and big game against TCU. You know them well, Posey. Obviously, I mean they got David. They got the big punch is another really good player. They honestly just melted down at Kansas. They should have beat Kansas there. That would be a huge win for you guys.
Well, I mean, Coach Dixon always does a really good job in giving his guys a chance to be successful. And you look at it, they could have won at BYU, could have won at Kansas. Those are two of the toughest places to play. That's all you got to say about them. And defensively, after the first game, we know how good they are. And again, Michigan, one of the most talented teams, at 13 points at their place with 7 minutes to go in the first half. So we know it'll be a great game. I don't know about the weather. The good thing is the students can walk across. I know you would have to drive across, but with your skiing experience and everything, I don't know how you'll get here. But
too soon. Still
too soon. And you know what, Mosley, too? You know what you love is that Baylor fans care and are passionate. Yeah. And so fully understand and get the frustration, and again, working on trying to put smiles on their faces.
Yeah.
Make it a good experience. So,
and if you get down a little bit, remember, these are the same fans that were like dying that you were thinking about leaving, right? They were like losing their minds. So yes, they may be frustrated now, but these are the same people who were like their lives were going to end if you left the program. All right, Scott, I appreciate it. Great talk as always. Have a great rest of the day. and go get the frogs on Saturday.
Sounds great. You be safe with that weather up there.
Okay, we'll make it down. We got snow tires. I'll put some chains on the tires. I'll be fine. There he goes. Scott Drew, the head basketball coach at Baylor University. That is the show for today. It is the Mosley Show. See you tomorrow at 1:00.